So, are you ready for the next reader? Billy Freed, Look Who's Paddling. Look Who's Paddling. Billy Freed. Let me get this out of your resume.
I just want to say before we start that I agree with Ed, right? About this really giving you the tools to write more briefly and succinctly. And I always say it would have been shorter if I only had the time. And that might apply this time. I wasn't kidding when I offered Tanzan the translator to take the monks kayaking. I had studied Buddhism in college and always felt it was the one thing that stayed with me and gave me the tools to deal with the uncertainties in life. My offer was sincere, making sand mandalas for 5 days straight, poor souls. 6 hours straight of sand humping without a break for the hushed and adoring crowds, the fastidiousness, the discipline. We in the West couldn't stand that long unless it was for a limited supply of flat screens at Walmart. Let the boys out, I thought. Let them blow off some steam. I knew the Dalai Lama was playful, and Tanzan said okay, so we set a date for 2 days later, my hopes buoyed with a typical fall run of exquisite weather. It was around 4 p.m. on October 9th. The ocean unbelievably still, placid as a fat man's sex drive. I faithfully pulled the boats down. That was supposed to be funny. I faithfully pulled the boats down and prepared them for launch. One question nagged at me. Would they wear the robes? Those plum-colored muumuus that always screamed, I'm too enlightened for Halston. Would they have any conception of the phrase, there's a time and a place? They could sing faster than the Broadway run of Spider-Man. Would they have on Speedos or baggy surf trunks revealing a hint of the Tibetan crack? How about tats? Any secret rebellious bad boys under there with a stash of John Waters films? I was about to find out. Tanzan came first, bounding around the corner. He was their driver and translator, a man with a ready smile. And then they appeared in plum-colored Tibetan robes. Probably the same ones they wear every day. No, surely they have backup, like Steve Jobs' crew neck shirts. Their chaperones were the lovely Rita Robertson, writer for The Indie, and Pam Wicks, musical director for the neighborhood Congregational Church. 2 dynamos, I happen to know. Now came the orientation. I take these very seriously. A lot can go wrong out there. The water seems so intuitive to us locals, but we forget that many people are landlocked, and the idea of floating on a little plastic boat in the middle of the Pacific is as terrifying as, well, the idea to us of living in a landlocked place. So I asked for their complete focus using the universal hand gesture of, I'm watching you, fucker, to keep their eyes trained to mine. I spoke of posture, balance, paddling, technique, launching, landing, recovery. But they were hardly listening. Their eyes were trained on the water as they giggled with excitement. Even Tanzan was in a hurry. Yes, Billy, we know all that. Really? Are you sure, Tanzan? I don't think they're listening. I don't think you're translating one bit. This is serious. People can die. He just laughed. This came across as an idle threat for those who see life as suffering and death as a step towards nirvana. Well, they may have come to the right place, but it wasn't going to be on my watch. That's all Village Laguna needed to hear. Monks drown while kayaking, and I'm through. No, I was determined to show them every beautiful nook and cranny of the Laguna Beach kayak experience. So I readied the boats and asked the first two to come up and, roll up your robes, please. It was easy to launch. The first monk climbed in the bow while I steadied it for the stern paddler. In they hopped. I gave them a little push, and then nothing. They just sat there. Paddle, I admonished. Nothing. Tanzan, tell them to paddle. Still nothing. Did these monks hear anything I said? Did they think I would somehow chant them out to sea? This was troubling. They needed a tugboat. I quickly grabbed my boat. I'll be right back, Tanzan. Quick. How do you say stop, go, left, and right in Tibetan? Gag, heb, yong, yas, he told me. I kept saying it over and over in my head as I ran the boat into the water and jumped in. I paddled up next to them and started saying, Fabs, while miming the paddle stroke. They reluctantly complied, but their hearts weren't really in it. They paddled so weakly. And they couldn't steer either. I finally righted their ship, got them past the surf zone, and reluctantly left them there while I paddled back for the others. Cog! I yelled repeatedly, getting them to nod at assent. I rushed back to shore where I found a nervous Pam and Rita waiting. Do you think this is a good idea, Pam said. Why don't you take them out one at a time, make a loop, and bring them back, reasoned Rita. I pondered, but that would be like getting to the rodeo without chaps. I had to get them all there together. I looked at the old Buddhists on the beach. Was it even possible to suck more than these young guys? I shuddered to think. Rita, you take one monk. Pam, you take the other. Really? Rita was an avowed paddler and excited. But I don't have a bathing suit. Neither do they, I answered. Just roll up your pants. Hurry, let's go. I don't know how to paddle, nervous Pam said. Sure you do. You're from Colorado. But that's canoeing. Get in there, I said. We scurried to launch, the monks in front, the ladies in command, and off we went. We turned past Shaw's Cove. The monks were giddy and playful, splashing, yelping, putting kelp around their necks. The sun was setting, the water a translucent aqua, paddles dipping through the water like almond butter. Of course, a pot of dolphins swam by. These were monks, after all. And gradually, ever so precipitously, they quieted down. No more adolescent pranks. The dreamy monks, all calm, not in a Buddhist way, clearing their minds of thought, but in a Western way. The same look I've seen from hundreds on our tour, a sense of awe in the sheer beauty and power of nature, right in our backyard. Tamsin broke the silence. Billy, this is what the monks like. Downtown Laguna is too noisy for them. Really? Have you tried getting something to eat after 9 o'clock? They like the quiet. I looked them over and I realized these gentlemen live a monastic life in India, unable to own homes or integrate into society, kept in quasi-internment camps, more manzanar than monastery. And yet, isn't that the blessing of a monastery, that no matter where you are, you can escape the attachment and suffering of this material world? We became one with the monks that day, Pam, Rita, me, and the sea lions. There was no them and us, only we and we, connecting to the earth, the sea, and the bright plum robes.
Oh, that's great.
I'm calling it Valentine's Day at the Bodhi tree. He shoves his outstretched hand hard against my neck, grazing my chin. I pick up my pace. The other 3 boys circle me like wolves. I am the prey. The lead beggar works his pitch. Hey, lady, look at me, look at my face, see my beautiful shirt. What is he saying? It isn't beautiful, it's torn, it's filthy. This is just a distraction so he can take the shirt right off my back. Lady, look at me right here. And I want to look, I want to see each one of them. I want to look poverty in the face and find myself unafraid. Even though it might mean losing everything, my cash, my passport, and my plane ticket home. A seasoned third world traveler, I know, especially here in the streets of India, not to engage the beggars. To say anything, even to part one's lips on the way to affirm no, is to invite the relentless pursuit of hordes of orphan children trained by ruthless crime lords to steal a compassionate, guilt-ridden tourist blind. There's a clear protocol here. Don't look down. Walk briskly. Look straight ahead, make no contact, and yet they still pursue. Poverty in motion, breathing down your neck. To break one's resolve, even for a moment, is to wish you'd never had a heart. Even knowing these hungry little ghosts are driven by fear of the bad guys who rule them doesn't break me. I do not give in until I do. Just outside the entrance to the Buddhist stupa in Bodh Gaya, India, where the Buddha found enlightenment, I lose it. I find my heart. Radically departing from the standard managing beggar behavior protocol, I stop walking. Intentionally, I lower my gaze. I look at these children, who only moments ago I wanted to kick like dogs into the alleyways. In my chosen rebellion, I determined to look into their eyes with all the warmth that I can muster. That's it. I will share the Buddha's compassion. I want to test the power of the Bodhi tree, see if this holy stuff really works. My training as a psychologist tells me, nope. Sociopaths, even this young, are hard to reach. They lack conscience, already armored from the possibility of love. Now, our eyes meet. Just this one child, and we are lost in silence amidst the uproar of the crowds. He responds with a challenging, cold stare, daring me to keep it up. I do. His eyes are glazed, glassy, drug-induced. I can't find him there. I try to look through and beyond his eyes. He melts, and I'm in. He knows it, panics, and looks away. I stay. Just as suddenly, he looks back at me. Now he searches my face, my eyes, and I see him so clearly, seeing me. And, gotta finish, and what I see breaks my heart wide open. I see my own longing for love, looking back at me through the eyes of a hungry child.